What if I told you the biggest difference between the rich and the poor isn't what's in their bank account, but what's going on inside their head? What if the real secret to wealth isn't about earning more money, but actually just learning to think differently?
Now, this idea, it probably challenges everything you've ever been taught. I mean, think about it. According to author Robert Kiyosaki's, the financial advice our parents and grandparents lived by, go to school, get a good job, save your money, is now completely, totally obsolete. So that immediately raises a huge question, right? If that old playbook is broken, what are the new rules? What actually works in the world we live in today? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down here. It really all kicks off with this thing called the mindset gap. The sources we're looking at argue the real difference isn't about dollars and cents. Nope, it's about something way more fundamental: how you see time. Think about it this way. This timeline breaks it down perfectly. The poor are often stuck thinking day to day, just trying to survive. The middle class, well, they stretch that out to month, paying the bills, looking for comfort. But the wealthy, they're playing a completely different game. They operate on a timeline of decades, sometimes even generations, because their goal isn't just comfort, it's freedom. So it makes sense, right? If we keep following those old, outdated rules, we're going to get old, outdated results. Let's dig into exactly why that traditional playbook is considered so, well, broken. This chart just lays out the difference so clearly. The old playbook screams, save money, but this new mindset says savers are losers because inflation eats away at your savings. We're all taught to get out of debt, but the wealthy learn how to use debt as a tool to buy assets. And that classic line, your house is an asset, well, if it's taking money out of your pocket every single month from mortgage, taxes, and repairs, it's actually a liability. And finally, the goal isn't just a high-paying job. The goal is to stop working for money altogether and have your assets work for you. And this all leads to this internal battle that, frankly, every single one of us has to face: the employee mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset. It really just boils down to your driving force. The employee mindset, and we all have a piece of this, it's driven by that deep need for security, that steady, reliable paycheck. But the entrepreneur mindset, that's driven by a need for freedom. It's not about getting the paycheck, it's about gaining control of your own life. This quote is, wow, it's pretty powerful. The argument here is that the second you accept that paycheck, you automatically adopt the employee mindset. And that's not a judgment, it's just a way of framing it. It means you're positioned to serve money instead of having money serve you. Okay, so this brings us from the mindset, the why, to the strategy, the how. Because the wealthy don't just think differently. They are playing a completely different financial game with a totally separate set of rules. And the absolute core of this game comes down to these two super simple definitions. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It's that simple. This filter is what they use to look at every single financial decision, and it separates what builds wealth from what just drains it. So the focus becomes crystal clear. Acquire assets. We're talking about things that generate income for you. Things like businesses, real estate that pays you rent, stocks that pay dividends. The goal isn't just to own stuff. It's to build a whole portfolio of assets that are constantly putting money back into your pocket. All right, now this is probably the most controversial part of the entire playbook. The two things that most of us are taught to fear, debt and taxes, are actually the tools the rich use to get richer. They learn how to use debt to buy those income-producing assets and how to use tax laws to keep more of the money they make. So what is the ultimate prize in this game? It's not a paycheck. It's equity. The whole game shifts from trying to earn an income to accumulating ownership. Ownership of businesses, of property, of assets. Because, as it says right here, ownership is the game. But here's the catch. None of these external strategies, none of them will work if you haven't mastered your internal world. This is about your own personal internal economy, the one and only thing you truly 100% control. This quote just perfectly captures the attitude. See, when someone told Kiyosaki he'd fail and have to come crawling back to his job, his response was basically, you fail and you come back. But me, I'm going to fail and I'm never coming back. For an entrepreneur, failure isn't a dead end. It's just a step on the path forward. There's no going back. And that gets to this idea of your internal locus of control. A weak internal mindset is reactive. It's afraid of what might happen. It blames the stock market, the government, the economy. It sees problems everywhere. But a strong internal mindset, that's proactive. It learns from everything that happens, good or bad. It creates its own economy, and it sees opportunity in every single situation. And that really is the bottom line. An entrepreneur's first job isn't to control the external world. It's to master the internal one. Your thoughts, your character, your reactions, that's where the real power is. So when you connect all these dots, from how you see time, to the rules of the game you play, to your internal control, it all leads to one incredibly powerful conclusion. Your mindset is what shapes your financial future. The next move, well, that's up to you. I love this quote from Wall Street Trapper. It just reframes the entire goal, doesn't it? It's not just about getting rich for yourself. It's about building a legacy. It's about turning your family name itself into an asset that works for generations to come. Ultimately, the core message from all these sources is pretty clear. The real game of wealth isn't played with bank accounts or paychecks. It's played inside your mind. So the final and most important question I have for you is this: what game are you playing?